All right, welcome again to Island of Prince Sports. My name is Leonard Dehaney. As promised, we are live with Mr. Kemar Rickett. You may have seen him around in a different area, but tonight we are talking about Treasure Beach Football Club because Treasure Beach is gonna play in the National League, the Jamaica Premier League, come sometime this year, maybe September, thereabout. And I did not know that. I'm hearing about the team and how well they were doing, but I didn't know that it was one Kemar Rickett at the helm as the coach there. Mr. Rickett, welcome to Island Up in Sports again, man.
Good night, good night, good night. I'm happy viewers and good night, Sir Lenny. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, man. Yeah. As I said, boy, in my introduction, I didn't know you were at Treasure Beach.
A lot of people didn't know. Um,
Huh?
a lot of people didn't know. You're not the only one. I'm sure a lot of people would be surprised that I am actually the coach of the Church Beach team.
Yeah, because what happened is that I'm hearing, I'm following because I gotta say I have a little bias in me towards country team. And I always want a team from St. Elizabeth to be in the Jamaica Premier League. So I was following it down in the last part about the semi-final, quarter-final. I know that if you at Treasure Beach. When did you get into this program or get involved with Treasure Beach?
In January, end of January. That's when I got. See, ending of January when I took over.
Oh, the end of January. Did the program started or you call
Yeah, they
in
had
or you
somebody. No
started
man,
it?
they had somebody in at the time, but a matter of fact, mid-January, because the transfer window wasn't out as yet when I got involved. Um, yeah, so they approached me from in becoming technical director. In that time, they had somebody there, so that's when I went in and helped to build the team.
To be the team. Treasure Beach. Treasure Beach, what should I say now, was always bubbling. We always hearing about Treasure Beach. Then in 2003, they came up. Um, they stay 1 year and they went back. But interestedly, they are back quick enough. 1 year out and they are back in the Premier League.
I think it was strategically done in terms of this year. We wanted to get them back up. Remember, I was it's not the first it's not my first stint with Treasure Beach.
Mm,
Remember, I would have been all right. So when they qualified 2 years ago, I would have went to the Premier League playoff when Chapelton Maroon first went to the Premier League.
right.
They had won Treasure Beach in the semi-final. I was the coach at the time, and
Oh,
yeah, so I was the coach before, then I resigned, and then Rambo, Mr. Wedderburn, took over
yeah.
to the tier two, brought the team to the Premier League. They dropped out, and then I became back a part of the program, and we identified immediately that we wanted to go up. So what I did, I brought in some schoolboys. We used 16 schoolboys and 8 senior players to pull this one off. So the squad is actually a very young squad.
We're gonna talk about that because you have to just tell me now how are going to navigate around this because I heard your chairman saying something that your manager giving interview. So we're gonna talk about that. But let us talk about the tier two. How did you find the tier two competition? How did you find it? There are good teams there, Falmouth United I was looking at True Juice. So how did you find it?
There's some very good teams there. I must applaud all the coaches who took part in the tier two. I think the teams are very pretty much organized. I heard you mention Falmouth, but I would like to mention all the teams. I think everybody it was a pretty competitive tournament or competition. Um, I just think we were better organized. Let's put it that way, in terms of training and stuff. So I think that gave us the edge You know what I mean? So what we did differently, as I said, we organized our training session, and then we looked at the opponents. It was in two different zones. So True Juice was actually in a different zone from Treasure Beach, if you followed it well. So
Mm-hmm.
we had 7 teams on this side, and on the other end we had another 7 teams. So
Mm-hmm.
it was Treasure Beach, Reno, St. Bess, Falmouth, Holland, PYC, Mount Pleasant Academy, who is formerly Brownstone, and Duncan's United.
Right, right. And what, the tier two is played, but I'll be honest with you, it do not get the support. Apart from like I read about it in the Star or the newspaper, and that's one read, and but it do not. People don't come out. Do you think tier two get the support that is?
No, I don't think so, and that's my honest opinion. I think it should be there should be more publicity around it. Um, Treasure Beach. If it wasn't for our social media page
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, a lot of people wouldn't even know what was happening
Yeah,
because
that's true.
it wasn't broadcast. I had a conversation with one of my friends from the Gleaner right before the finals, and that's when she found out because they didn't know that it was going on. So I think in for future references, I think they can put a bit more around it because actually it's our second biggest competition in the island. If you really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah,
it's D1 Major League Tier Two, and then Premier League. I
yeah.
know what Tier Two is not being published enough through the medias and stuff. So I think that they can definitely improve in advertisement and stuff.
Right. Yeah. As you mentioned, I must congratulate the club on that too. Your Instagram page was very active. When I went over there, I saw a lot of things there and about Treasure Beach. It was very, very active. But how is football in St. Elizabeth? And what does this do? What does Treasure Beach qualifying again? Because as I said, I listened to your chairman, and before you went up to um 2023, he was saying no Premier League football was played in the parish. No club from the parish was in the Premier League for 43 years. That's a lot. That's a long, long time, man. How is
It's
the
a lot.
mood now around every the whole parish where that is
There's a
concerned?
great,
Football.
there's a great mood. Remember, I think we're the only parish who had 3 teams in the tier two.
Okay.
Treasure
Okay.
Beach, Treasure Beach, St. Bess, and Holland PYC is all from St. Elizabeth.
Oh,
So
okay.
yes, so in all of tier two, St. Elizabeth had 3 teams. So
Okay.
it's been doing well. There's always room for improvement. I don't think the major leagues and those other leagues have a title sponsor. But in terms of development, remember, if we're thinking about football, we think about Doncaster Cup, we think about the amount of schools that is in
Mm-hmm.
St. Elizabeth, and then we think about the competitiveness of Zone E. I
Yeah.
think that really that develops and set the foundation and the ground for other clubs to get all these players to filter into their teams to be competitive.
Right. It seems like there's a well structured Treasure Beach is well structured. Based on what I see, your manager and so on. Last time you play at Tech. I believe Tech was your home ground. I believe that team should play at their home ground. Are you going to Treasure Beach or are you gonna be at Tech we outside?
No, man, we have plans. They have already started some plans in developing our pitch. There's a certain limit of capacity that we need to reach, and we have already started the groundwork in getting these things in place. As you said, you heard from our manager and our president, our chairman, Mr. Hensley, would have expressed through different media on how important it is for us to try our best in getting our games in Treasure Beach. I mean, that's where the club is from, and I think it has more value in terms of supporters if it's in where if it's in the community of Treasure Beach. Not to say that it doesn't work in Santa Cruz, but it's more based in Treasure Beach. So we are looking forward to having our games played there. But we need some facility development, which we are presently doing, so we can meet the standard.
How is the field itself? The ground itself. I know you have to get stands and you have to get a certain amount. But how is the ground? Is the ground good enough to play Premier League football?
No, it needs improvement. It needs improvement, again, I can't divulge too much you know into which company will be doing the improvement, but I can say to you that there's an agreement, and they are very much improving the playing surface along with the stands around it. We have a well
You
there,
won 9 matches, draw 7 out of 16 games. Pretty impressive. Very impressive. What happened in the finals?
Injuries. I think injuries took a toll on the squad, and I must
Uh-huh.
say I can say complacency. I would want to put that in. Um, we worked so hard in getting the qualification that we kind of eased up. When we were approaching the final, I don't think the same kind of work ethics and stuff went
Oh.
in, especially from the
The
boys and stuff.
motivation factor. Yeah.
I don't think we had that going into the final, and I'm being honest here. You know what I mean? I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I think before, when we were heading to the semi-final, it was hands on, locked in. The Mid Forest team is a wonderful team. I
Yeah.
can't, I can't say, hey, they are a wonderful, wonderful, talented team. And if you followed it in the first semi-final, we had a red card, early red
Hmm.
card in the first semi-final outing versus Mid Forest, and we stood in there and brought the game home and qualified. So that kind of energy and preparedness that went into the semi-final, I don't think it was there for the final.
You're there for the final. And so out of 17 games for the season, the final was your last game you lost. But you mentioned Med Forest. I'll be honest with you. Med Forest is from Cassava. They did some things where they went out of line and because they want to play tier two. Majority of Jamaican was carrying Med Forest to beat you. I'm telling you, majority. When you talk to people, they had Med Forest to defeat Treasure Beach. It was when you drew with them in the first leg. How did you pull off that? Because Med Forest is a good team.
They had the best strike. Hey, they had a lethal striker. They have some really good player. I don't remember the youngster name that is up front, but he wears number 45. I think he works very very hard for them. But what I did, I kind of analyzed, as you know me at all time. I analyze my opponent. I don't go in blind. So I would have seen what they were doing from before by watching some games and stuff that they had played. When we lost one of our best midfielder, Romario, to a red card, which was a red card. It was a red card. I can't go around that. It was a really horrific challenge on the player there. But what I did, we switched to 4-4-1. Soon as we got the red card, I switched tactically the system, and I told the boys that let's just apply a mid block, right? Don't go too deep into our half. So stay at a range where we can get something, going, and we're not clustered in front of our goal. And the least that we should walk away with is a draw or a win. The boys, they really really stood in there, and we pulled that game off, and we knew that once we brought it back home, it would be difficult for them.
Yeah. Um, was Med Forest the hardest team you play for this season?
I would say hardest because it's two leg. The two leg was, and I played other games that was difficult as well. But the Med Forest game was a different kind of opponent. Put it that way. I don't want to take anything away from the other opponents, because when we went to Reno, it was a tough game. We had some really tough game, but Med Forest was doing different stuff from the other opponents that we would have faced. They had some really good. They have some really good players.
I listen to your chairman, Mr. Ensign. That's his name?
Hensel, Jason Hensel.
Ensign, right. He shower you with praise and he said that you did a very good job and all of that. But in it, you said it, you did it with actually schoolboys. Now the schoolboys will be involved in the Costa Cup football because he said you did it with boys from Monroe, BB, Coke, and schools around St. Elizabeth. How are you going to survive? How are you going to go about this?
I mean, we're strategically looking at. I've been working since. Listen to me, Lenny. From we qualified on the 10th, and my work started on the 11th. I would have from I started the tier two. I would have been looking at players from different teams. You know, we I always jot two, three players down that I see that is doing well on the other team, and it's like I had planned for it before it happened. Put it that way. So while I was playing all these teams, I was scouting and I was saying, all right, once we qualify, I need that player, I need that player, I need that player. I would have known from the get go that once we qualify for the Premier League, then these boys wouldn't be a part of the squad. And the reason being is because of the rule from ISA. You know,
Yeah.
it's the ISA rule that will be preventing these boys from playing. So
Right.
it's not like we're going to throw them away. You know. So if viewers are wondering why is he changing the squad, we have plans around these boys. They have quality, and we want to continue with them. But at the start of the competition, we won't be able to use these boys. So what we're doing is we're putting a squad together. I would have identified players, and we want to bring them in as soon as possible. To get the ball rolling.
Usually when a team goes up and you have a team being relegated or drop out or out of the Premier League, that team that the players usually go to that team, the team that is coming up. Are you looking for an influx of players? Do you have a margin that you want to work with uh for the
I
Premier
mean,
League?
I'm really just looking at having a competitive squad. I can't sit here and tell you that I want 20 players or I want 24 players. It just all depends on the talent pool, right? It's 9 months of competition, so you're looking to have a squad that can have the kind of quality that you can rotate and stuff. Um, when we look at the Premier League, what we want to achieve is stability, right? And that stability has to be the keeping the team into the Premier League. It's kind of too far fetched to even talk about winning and all of those stuff. So what we want to do is identify a points tally that we want to reach and work hard in reaching that point to stay in the Premier League before we can even entertain any kind of conversation of competing for the Premier League. Um, we know it's going to be tough. It's again when the club went out the last time, it was what 3-1, three wins, four draws, and about 19 losses. Right, I think it's around there that they would have achieved. So we want to do better than that time around, and some of the work that we're doing is we have looked deep into some of the moves that the club would have made in the first entrance into the Premier League, and moving not to repeat these things, but to better align ourselves so we can be there.
Yeah. Based on what happened the last time, experience teaches wisdom. The Premier League is a different ball game, totally different ball game. You had mostly schoolboys who brought you up. How many members of the ones that remain, the eight or the nine, how many of them played Premier League before?
Quite a few of them. Remember, we would have inherited some players who would have played for the club before. The 8 players that I told you about,
Hmm.
the 8 players were involved with the club previously. Apart from one, sorry, 7 players out of the 8 was involved with the club before. So from
Mhm,
Premier League and stuff, they would have been there before.
mhm. One, the history of the Premier League in most places is that the teams that go up usually come down. As I said, Treasure Beach, you have a history, you were there, so you understand it. Racing went up and did very, very well. Um,
Chapital Maroons.
Chapitan Maru, yes, both teams that went up, they are up there.
But
Um,
what's the key thing? Chapman
Yeah.
Maroon is on their second stint. Remember, they went up and came down.
Right. So they must have an understanding of what. But you I'm talking about the coaching now. You are gonna be this is new to you in the Premier League. Is it that or you were around a Premier League team?
I mean, it's gonna be my first time if I
Yeah,
decide to if I decide to 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 go with the team in the Premier League. Remember, I am
yeah.
still signed to Monroe College, so I can't really disclose a lot that is happening. But it's something that I'm thinking about. You know, it is a challenge that I really, 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 really like. So don't be surprised if there's another news breaking soon.
Why I know if it's news breaking, I know I'm the first one to hear because so I will just leave that one alone. I know that I will be the first one to hear. But you must have ambition because you know that is the highest level of football. Um, but Treasure Beach, let me tell you straight and plain. The impression is that money is at Treasure Beach. Treasure Beach have money. Is that their money, money that Treasure, they can retain coach, they can pay this, they can do that. That is the reason they went down and come up so quick. What the money is at Treasure Beach?
I can't say money is at Treasure Beach. You know, I think they're organized in terms of executives and stuff, and you know, they have a body of people. 'Cause remember, you know, our club have a chairman, we have a president, we have a director, we have PRO, we have, you know, we have people who controls the social media that you put some praise on earlier, right? We have a team manager. You know, we have all these people in place. So I think the organized body of Treasure Beach makes it work. They get sponsors and stuff. So it's no different from the club that are doing well. If you look at all of those clubs that are doing well, they have a structure in place and they try to do what is best. Um, the beauty about remember, you know, Treasure Beach is run by a non-profit organization, but you know, named Breads. There's a Breads Foundation that really runs Treasure Beach. So,
Okay.
you know, while we talk about money, it's through these different bodies, you know, and different fundraising techniques and strategies why Treasure Beach can compete and be there. And these are some of the things that we are looking at, you know, adjusting and improving on sponsorship, you know, different ways of raising money so that we can go on to be a stalemate in the Premier League. And who knows what the future holds for the club. But I think one of my number one objective as because I'm in the capacity of technical director at the moment, right? One of
Mhm.
my number one objective is to have a development plan that is sustainable and one that the club can build on.
And that's the best can bring on. Um, the clubs in the Premier League is going in a particular format. We have seen other clubs doing it where they are limiting their age. The players, some teams are not, the average age is 23. You know, what is the are you looking in you use youth, cool boys and reach the Premier League? Are you looking into that area where you are saying that you need experience, yes, but your average area we have seen, let's call name Cavalier. We have seen Mount Pleasant gone with youth in terms of a 16-year old who just scored in the semi-final. Are you going that route or you need that experience 30 or 28 years old? What is it that you're looking at?
I mean, we're taking notes. I mean, well, I don't think you can really go that old. If I mean, you can maybe have a one player two or so, you know, but I don't think you can have a squad averaging 28. And you're talking about future, right? We are really looking at promising youngsters. You know, what I mean, within the parish, you know, around the country, outside the Caribbean, we're looking at bright, talented individual. In hindsight, if you look at the world football, it is all youth. Lamine Yamal for Barcelona. If you look all over the world, it's really youth.
Mhm.
So what we want to align ourselves, especially being in the rural area, We want to be the club that a youngster really wants to be a part of. If
Yeah.
you're thinking about revenue, future, you have to think that route, right? Because it's the only way one player through that door and it changes your club future for life. When you look at, remember, in 1998, here comes a young gardener that was sold overseas by Harbour View. 17-year-old gardener. I think it was out
Yeah.
£1 million. And that
Yeah.
was 1998. That's years ago. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's no other way that we can really do it other from youths. We're looking at some youngsters who will be coming out of the Doncaster Cup who have already came out of the Doncaster Cup right across the island, right? And we're looking to capitalize on those kind of talent.
Um, I saw Mr. Bernard is your president, right?
Yes, yes, Mr. Paul Bernard.
He was there when he went up and when he went up too before.
The club format is the same. It's the same executives and stuff. Mr. Henzo was the chairman and Mr. Bernard is the president. They were the president when the club went up, and they are still the president now. The president and the chairman.
So that's a vast majority of experience. As the coach, do you get the chairman said it, but do you get a leeway to go ahead with what you want in terms of and the buying to it?
Yes, definitely, definitely. It's 100% support I've gotten from the executive from day one. Right from day one, I've gotten 100% of support. You know what I mean? And I really can't complain.
And when yes, we have to you have to take in the victory and so on. But as I said, the summer so on. When do you look to start getting things rolling to get back in the groove with Treasure Beach? If you're gonna be there, you obviously.
I mean, I'll be around the club. There's no doubt. It's just about being head coach or technical director or whatever. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
we have already started to assemble a coaching staff, and which you'll hear about soon. I can't really announce certain things as yet until there's some pen to paper. You know what I mean? So I've
Yeah.
already again, I'm in the capacity of technical director, so I've approached different personnel. Trainer, goalkeeper coach, assistant coach, and we're looking at maybe who we can get as a head coach. So we are busy putting in work, put it that way. Um, we're not here to wait until July or August to put the team together. We have already started to put the team together. We're looking to get in the squad in soon to see how we can shape the squad out and who will be the final part of the team and stuff. So we're busy working in different areas, and all different committees are. 'Cause we have a technical committee as well. They're doing their work, so we're all working.
Right. And your captain Tommy Lawrence, has he played Premier League before? How good the other captain is the other young captain, young man.
So he's coming from Tivoli, so he would be playing for. He would have played for Tivoli for over 3 years, or 2.5 years, and then he came on to Treasure Beach. He's a brilliant individual. It's someone I've worked with before. To tell you something, I had him at BB Cook years ago. Um, he
Okay.
won Super League with me with Downs. So we went to the Premier League playoff with Downs in 2019. Tommy Lawrence was a part of that group.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
know each other very well, you know what I mean? So he brings a lot of leadership to the group, which I really admire. The boys look up to him, he's always on point. This morning, me and the team manager had a conversation, and I was asking him, we were going over a couple of things, and I was asking him, we were looking at the player. I said to him, look at Tommy. When has he ever missed training? You know what I mean? He's always there, always there. So, this is the kind of attitude that we're looking forward to bring some success to the club. So we're not going to just pick anybody, and we're not looking at rejects, and we're not looking at injured players and stuff. We are looking at the right balance squad that is willing to train, looking at having a future in football, and that wants to be a part of the change and something wonderful that we can create here at Treasure Beach.
Coach Rickett, you mentioned it before. I'm gonna ask you. You don't have to divulge much if you don't want to, but you are also involved in another program, I'm talking about Monroe College now in the Costa Cup, which is also a very serious program. How you gonna manage this stuff? How you gonna manage it?
I mean, as I said, in time, another couple of days, we'll see exactly what is happening. But again, my capacity at Treasure Beach is technical director, and I'm head coach at Monroe College. All right, so it's either I continue in my capacity as technical director and be the head coach of Monroe, and we bring a head coach into Treasure Beach, or it is vice versa. Let's see. But I must say, I'm very much attracted to the project and the direction that Treasure Beach is going in. It is the highest competition that we have in our island, as you know, any coach would dream to coach in the Premier League, right? If you're looking at a challenge for yourself, and my personal goal that I've set out, it's one of them that I want to be a part of. So don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised. As I said, if anything, I will be the first to hear or to know what is happening. But we are in the half an hour mark. I just want to say congratulations. It's not a long interview. Because I know that you're one person who I can call and say, boy, Coach Rickett. I can call you tomorrow morning and say, Coach Rickett, you know, so we need to do an interview. And you say yes. So I always respect that with you. But we just want to say congratulations and big you up. As I said, I didn't know. I didn't know it when it came down to the last part. It may be the semi-final, and I read something and I said, I saw the name. And I said, hold on, Kemar Rickett, I know this name, man. So that is when I found out that you were the person. Again, let me read back the 1-9, June 7, out of 16 games and only lost one. It was the one for the season, right? And that was the final.
One for the season is the final. That's a sad way to do it. But I must say, congratulations to the boys. They really did well. I can't take anything from them. Some of the
Yeah,
best teams in the world, go on to lose games. And sometimes while we are so invested in the, getting a unbeaten streak going, which we would have wanted, we can't take away the effort that these boys would have
yeah,
put day in, day out. Sometimes it was hard. Some of these boys are doing exam. So remember, the bulk of that qualification came in the exam period. And
mm-hmm.
all of my boys, some are at, one is in fourth, everybody else is in fifth and the sixth form. So it wouldn't have been easy to get these boys to kind of, but we try to teach them balance, and it's something I want to implore, our young athletes that are coming up to try to find that balance. You know what I mean? You can achieve anything you put your mind to, but once you're balanced and disciplined, you know what I mean, you'll achieve it.
Yeah, man. And as I said, boy, congratulations to the whole Treasure Beach, the club itself. Congratulations to the whole St. Elizabeth. Honestly, I keep saying this, boy, I'm a countryman and rural Jamaica, and I like when I see things like this, when a rural team go up, you know. Um, Falmouth United and the other, and I was rooting for them, but unfortunately, again, Spanish Town Police. But as I said, congratulations. You have the final words, man. To say something to the community at Treasure Beach.
I just want to say, let's continue to support us and our potential sponsors, get on board. It's something beautiful that we're creating. We're also looking at creating youth teams, girl teams. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be only on the men's side that we're looking to create a footballing team going. We're looking to create a women's team, right? That's a fast improving um, venture that has been going on in Jamaica, since we went to the World Cup and stuff. Um, I want to say thanks for supporting us and supporting Treasure Beach. We're looking to expand and to create more partners as we go along. The project is really an important one to me, because when you look at it now, from the southern go right round in the rural parts of the island now, you only have Chapelton Maroons, Treasure Beach, Montego Bay United, and you have Mount Pleasant.
Okay, okay.
Everybody else is in the urban part of the island. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, we stand a chance to do something beautiful. We can be a place where a child can look to say, all right, I want to play for Treasure Beach. We want to create those kind of opportunities. A lovely, lovely neighborhood and community. Treasure Beach is located on the southern part of the island in St. Elizabeth, right next to the beach. Hotels are there. It's where one of the police training academy is located in Treasure Beach. A lot of people didn't know that, right? So we have a wonderful park there, that we call home. We have a pool that hosts different swimming classes. We have a gym, a basketball court. We have that new thing that is taking over now, not tennis. What's that sport called? Uh,
Pickleball.
Pickleball. We have recently completed a pickleball court there. So it is somewhere that I think young men will find it very interesting. We have a hard trust school on campus there as well. So
Okay.
different opportunities different opportunities are there for young men finding a way out, seeking a way out. And I want to continue to be a part of the change and helping our young men in finding different opportunities.
As I said, Coach Rickett, thank you as always, man. Respect, man. You're family here at Island of Sport. I tell you, so my time, so my time I'm doing something, like back when I was doing schoolboy football. And me remember, me remember something, remember about Manuel, and I remember say you and I said, gee, me I go mash him. But respect, man. Always familiar and friend and just easy to reach. One of the best coach you can get an interview from. And we always respect that. We always respect that. We don't take it for granted. And
Yeah,
respect.
my
As I
respect.
said, don't be surprised if you see me a one and two at Treasure Beach games because for me I mostly go country game. So don't be surprised if you see me down there. But
Yeah, man,
I would really
definitely.
like if Treasure Beach play at Treasure Beach this time. Yeah.
No, man,
I really like.
we're doing our utmost best. You know what I mean? Again, we're taking notes from the team that are doing very well in the Premier League and the coaches and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
again, we'll continue to look at racing. You know what I mean? Racing has had a wonderful Premier League season.
Yeah.
Capital Maroon has done very well.
Yeah.
Mr. Vassar Reynolds, there, my good friend from St. Catherine High is the coach of racing as well. I mean, all the
Yeah.
coaches and I have a very good relationship. So we're looking to see how we can go there and not only participate, but definitely compete. And that's what we're looking at.
Coach will be rooting for you, all right? All the best to the people at
Respect,
Treasure Beach. All
respect,
the best.
respect, respect.
Respect
Thanks
Coach
for
Rickett.
having me, Island Hopping. You know your family. So,
Yeah, man.
Island Hopping Sports, your number one place for sports and interview. Big up.
All right, Sam, you put up that. Respect.
Respect.
All right.